Ex-King got heat.
Remember we was almost famous, now it's a wish. Remember we was almost famous, now it's a risk.
What up? It's your boy A9 and let's talk. Today I feel like talking about some wrestling. You understand what I'm saying? Some people might not fuck with it. It is what it is. It's your opinion. Some people don't watch basketball, but people still talk about it. Some people don't watch football, but people still talk like, you know what I'm saying? This is for my wrestling fans. You know what I'm saying? We just gonna have a little debate, a little talk. So for the past couple months, you understand what I'm saying? There's always this comment, especially like whenever, of course, WWE is going to promote their own show. That's what they're going to do. So anytime WWE posts a Roman Reigns clip, a Jimmy Uso clip, just anything to do with the Samoan bloodline, there's comments under the post that always talk about Roman Reigns has held the title too long. The bloodline story is getting stale. They need to wrap it up. Cody needs to finish the story, blah, 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 blah. And my argument is, you're a liar. I ain't gonna say you're a liar, but that argument gets used a lot. You know, the bloodline story has jumped the shark. The bloodline story is getting stale. It's not the same, blah, blah, blah. My first argument, first of all, is people say this on the internet, which I say this all the time in the comments. Like, I'll comment and say, you guys say this on the internet, but the merch proves y'all wrong. The ticket sales prove y'all wrong. Viewership proves y'all wrong. Ratings proves y'all wrong. Like, if something is getting stale, why do people still continuously throw money at it? That's my first argument, and I'm going to just end it there. My second argument is that people isolate the bloodline story way too much to support their argument. Everybody that says the bloodline story is getting stale, the bloodline story has fell off, this and that, are individualizing this storyline. But when you look, when Vince was running WWE, the storyline was very small. Now, I wouldn't say very small, but it was like it existed in a universe of its own on some shit. That's where it was like its own separate storyline. And it did not peak there. The storyline had kept building. Some people will say the peak was WrestleMania 39 or Money in the Bank 2023. But you gotta realize with how Triple H has booked everything, how Triple H has just set everything up, Triple H and the writers or whatever has set everything up, the bloodline story is no longer a singular, separate storyline from everything else. It may feel like it sometimes, but when you think about everything that has branched off from the bloodline story, you realize that the story has not gotten stale. The story has expanded beyond where it was before. You got to think. So the beginning of the bloodline storyline, it was really just a storyline between Roman Reigns and his cousins. And it has expanded to so many different things that pretty much every storyline that is going on right now in the WWE is branched from that storyline. So when you process how everything has gone, this is the bloodline storyline. And this is everything else coming from it. So you can say that the individual, if you want to individualize the bloodline story, then you can feel however you want from it. I still enjoy me. But when you look at it for its entirety, the bloodline storyline not only is one of the greatest storylines that WWE has ever made, but it is also still a hot storyline, because you got to think. Let me just break this down for you. Okay, so we have the bloodline storyline. This is all the stories that have branched from that storyline. We got the Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens reuniting storyline. We got Jey Uso breaking on his own and is now beefing with Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre's heel turn has come from that. Cody Rhodes' finish the story has come from that. Everything with Seth Rollins has branched from the bloodline storyline. Roman Reigns has had this dominance over the entire company to where we need a new champion. So Seth Rollins' storyline is him trying to say, hey, look, I'm the champion y'all need. I'm the champion y'all want, and I'm going to fight, and I'm going to prove it. I'm going to put my body on the line and hurt myself. I'm going to do the exact opposite of what that guy is doing to prove to you guys that I am the man. I am the guy. I am this and that. It all spawns from the bloodline storyline. People going to say, oh, Seth Rollins isn't directly. Yes, he is. Because if you remember, he brings it up all the time. I am the only person Roman has never beaten. Roman has beating me by disqualification. And I think, did Kevin Owens say the same thing? I don't know. But the whole Seth Rollins thing, they even started it. Triple H started the build to the World Heavyweight Championship by saying Roman is not here enough. We need a champion that's going to be here, that's going to fight. It's all started from there. Shinsuke Nakamura, his connection to why he's turned heel and why he's going after Cody Rhodes is you won at WrestleMania, you went against Roman Reigns and you lost. Now everybody's begging you to finish your story, but I never finished my story. So guess what? Shinsuke Nakamura has now entered himself into the finish the storyline, which is branched into the Bloodline storyline. Like I said, Jey Uso going on his own and becoming the main eventer and the new tribal chief and all that stuff like that is a branch off of the Bloodline storyline. All of the hottest things going in WWE is branched from the Bloodline storyline. These things would not have happened if it wasn't for the Bloodline storyline. Like it is insane. So we can even LA Knight situation where he's getting what he's getting because of how just good he is on the mic and all stuff like that, and he's just a throwback and everybody's rocking with, everybody's fucking with him, whatever like that. But where did that lead him to? That led him to crossing paths with Roman Reigns. And that also led to the return of John Cena. But my whole point is we individualize this Bloodline storyline, but we forget there are so many branches to this storyline. To where you can say it's gotten stale, but they don't need to be on. It doesn't need to be a part of regular TV every single week. Doesn't need the main event every pay-per-view, because everything that has spawned from it has become popular enough to where it can be believable main events. Everybody is believable stars thanks to that one storyline. So you can say, I feel the individual Roman Reigns thing is getting stale because of how things go. But Roman Reigns shows up once every 3 months. So you don't see him too much. If Roman Reigns was here every single week, then it would have definitely gotten stale real fast. But the fact that he is pretty much a main attraction for big pay-per-views only, it isn't something that's always thrown in your face every single week. And like I said, so many big stars have branched off of this just from interacting with Roman, to where you can, if you don't like that storyline, there are so many other storylines going on that you can sink your teeth into. And that keeps you watching the product. Because guess what? You're complaining that this storyline is getting stale, but you're still watching. So there's a reason for it. It may not be specifically because of that, but it may be something that was created from that. Like I said, the Drew McIntyre heel turn is based off of the Bloodline. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens getting together based off the Bloodline. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens being separated and put on two different brands is because Jey Uso got traded because he left the Bloodline and did not want nothing to do with the Bloodline and went over to Raw. So now Kevin Owens on SmackDown, he's doing whatever in the United States Championship, and now that's going to lead into the Logan Paul thing. And even Logan Paul winning the United States Championship, he wouldn't have even gotten that look if it wasn't for his match with Roman Reigns back in the day, and of course his match with Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. So it's just like so many things that's hot right now. It's hard to disconnect it from the Bloodline. Even the Judgment Day existing is because of the Bloodline. Okay, they went over there. They took over SmackDown. They pretty much took over all of WWE. We can stick together and we can do the same thing, and we can become the new. Almost every single promo every other promo is the Bloodline does not run WWE anymore. We run WWE now. And it's getting so many people to be like, we have to create a faction because these guys are taking over and we cannot let this happen. So much is just branching from it. Like, and then now we got Damian Priest as Mr. Money in the Bank. And now it's like, okay, he looks like he's going after the World Heavyweight Championship because he wants to be the equivalent, or seem like the equivalent of Roman Reigns to the Bloodline. You understand what I'm saying? To where it's just like, I'm the world champion, you the world women champion. Dom don't have his title no more. We the tag team champions. And this is going on. That's going on. We taking over. We are pulling the power from the Bloodline. Now we're going to be the big faction and the dominant people in the WWE. But the Judgment Day wouldn't exist. A faction of people trying to dominate WWE wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the Bloodline and the story that they created and just the stars that they've created. So now Damian Priest is a star. Finn Balor's a star. Rhea Ripley's a star. Like him or not, Dominic Mysterio is a star. And JD McDonough is on the rise. Solo Sikoa is on the rise. Jimmy Uso, people didn't really feel him at first when he turned on Jay, but people are starting to rock with Jimmy Uso. I'm seeing it. Jey Uso, of course, is a star. Cody Rhodes been a star, but he's getting bigger over time. I feel like if Cody Rhodes would have won at WrestleMania 39, just like what happened to Seth Rollins when he won the championship, and then by the time we got to SummerSlam of that year, people kind of like fell off on Seth Rollins, which led to him having to turn to the Messiah. I feel like if Cody Rhodes would have won at WrestleMania 39, people would have turned on him. But the fact that Cody Rhodes is chasing is similar to Stone Cold Steve Austin. People don't bring this up, but Stone Cold Steve Austin was actually better at chasing the title than actually like being a champion, because I feel like his longest reign was like 5 months, and every time he had a title it was only for a few weeks or sometimes a few days or whatever like that. So I feel like if they would have had, and I've been saying this even before WrestleMania 39, I was like, I feel like Cody Rhodes just come back, like he came back to WWE, faced Seth Rollins 3 times, and then won the Royal Rumble, and then went to WrestleMania. So he had 5 matches, and now he's the one that gets to dethrone Roman Reigns. I feel like it would have been too early to do that, because he didn't, of course he came in with, you know, whatever from another company, but as far as people who don't know nothing about AEW, I feel like they would have turned on him, because they would have been like, okay, I feel like they gave him the title way too fast just because he came back or whatever like that. So I feel like giving Cody notches under his belt, he done wrestled in more matches than almost anybody in the company. He done, you know what I'm saying, the main evented and had this storyline, that storyline. He's getting pulled, like he has an actual story going into beating Roman Reigns versus, oh, my dad died and he didn't get to win the title, so now I want to win the title. Like, I feel like that's not, it's a strong foundation, but it's not strong enough without no actual build. And I feel like Cody Rhodes winning the Royal Rumble and then just facing him at WrestleMania wasn't enough build to justify him being the one to take the title from Roman Reigns. But I feel like now, heading into WrestleMania 40, enough has happened to where people are, like, people right now are, please have him take the title. Like, I don't feel like it was like that at 39. People wanted him to win just because of where he came from. But for, like I said, for people who don't know nothing about WWE, they just know WWE, they're like, oh, that's Stardust. Oh, that's Cody Rhodes from back in the day. How he just come back, beat Seth Rollins a few times, win a Royal Rumble, and then get the title after Roman Reigns just ran through everybody else. I feel like people would have turned on Cody Rhodes eventually. I feel like now is the person, because they've built it enough to where, yes, this is the person that's going to take the title off, and he has worked hard. He done put in the work to actually do it. And then I feel like the duality of Cody Rhodes has wrestled in the most matches, has wrestled in almost more matches than almost anybody in the company, versus the actual champion Roman Reigns, who has probably wrestled in the least amount of matches. I feel like it all makes sense. You understand what I'm saying? So I feel like my whole overall point is just everything has a reason, everything has a purpose. And I feel like it's getting stale and it's dragging on way too long and this and that. I'm just like, people aren't paying attention to everything that's going on. I feel like people are kind of looking at each storyline as an individual storyline. Like I said, when Vince was running, the Bloodline storyline was a little more separate in like its own separate universe that people would enter for, you know what I'm saying, to keep the story going on. But I feel like as Triple H has taken over, everything has kind of branched into its own thing to where the Bloodline storyline is here and everything else that's going on is just different branches all coming from that. You understand what I'm saying? So you can feel like I said, you can feel like that individual storyline is getting stale for you. Me, I don't think so. But I feel like it's way more complex. I feel like it's one of the more complex storylines WWE has ever done. And that's why I just never agree. People gonna be like, oh, you know, you just a fanboy, blah, 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 blah. I as a creative person, I'm an artist. I like to write stories in my music and just do certain things. And as a person that just kind of sees the subtlety and the nuances and just the small things and certain things, I just feel like everything is way more complex than even we can understand. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the genius of what's been going on and why WWE is at one of its highest points, if not the highest point it's ever been of all time. You may say, oh, the ratings ain't like it was an Attitude Era, but nothing is like it was in the 90s. Nothing that was popular in the 90s, no metric from back then is the same. Like album sales, if we're going to go into music, because I'm a rapper, if we go into music, album sales today are way lower than they were way back in the day. People was going platinum in a week. People were selling millions and millions of albums. Now, a person selling 200,000 first week is amazing. You understand what I'm saying? No metric today is the same as it was back in the day. So we shouldn't be like, oh, well, it's not like it was back in, like, that's not how we judge things anymore. We talking about individual dollars and butts in seats and all that stuff like that. If we're looking at it from that perspective, as far as social media appeal, actual media appeal, ticket sales, money being made, so much business wise, it's bigger than it's ever been, and it's because the Bloodline storyline and so much that has spawned from that storyline being good for business. You understand what I'm saying? But that's all I want to talk about. I don't really talk about wrestling too much on the channel. I think I might have talked about SummerSlam, or I know I did a video, but I don't know if I uploaded it. But I don't talk about wrestling too much, but I just feel like talking about it because I've been seeing this argument all year, yet it gets proven wrong week by week, but people ignore it because it doesn't support their argument. Just loved wrestling, enjoy wrestling. It's great. I'll be having fun watching it. It be funny. It be sad. It be happy. There's so many emotions, so many people you can get behind, so many stars. I say it all the time. We have more stars now than we did 10 years ago because of the Bloodline storyline. You understand what I'm saying? When John Cena was the top guy, it was really just John Cena and Randy Orton and Batista, and it was like cycle. Triple H might pop up every now and then. Brock Lesnar came in. Like when it was just one guy, it was just one guy. But the fact that Roman Reigns took the spot, and now we have 15 plus superstars that you can get behind, that could potentially be a world champion, that could potentially win the Royal Rumble, that could potentially win Money in the Bank, that could potentially, like, there's so many people that people can get behind that can do big things. It hasn't been like that since the Attitude Era, when you had Stone Cold, The Rock, Triple H, Shawn Michaels for a little bit, Bret Hart for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like now we have even more because anybody could beat Gunther. The Intercontinental Championship is as important as it's ever been because of what Roman Reigns has trickled down everything into being. Like, if you want to look at the top titles, it will be Roman's title and then Gunther's title and then Seth. I love Seth. That's one of my favorites of all time. But Gunther's title sometimes feel way more important than Seth's title. And that wouldn't be a possibility if Triple H, of course, Vince made Gunther the champion, but it wouldn't be a possibility if Roman Reigns didn't create this different just feel and atmosphere in the company to where it was just like, I'm going to be the dominant champion. I'm the god of all this shit. You understand what I'm saying? And now Gunther is kind of like, I'm the god of the mid-card. You understand what I'm saying? But that's it. I'm out. I'm going to try and do at least one video a month. I've been wanting to do videos, but I've always having issues with recording, but I'll figure it out for 2K24. But that's all I want to talk about. That's it for me. I'm out. Too sweet. Deuce.